Good day, students. This is another segment of radio, television, e-learning. The subject is geography. Topic is settlement 2. Previous lesson we discussed about settlements. We define settlement as group of buildings with people living in them and carry out their economic activities. And we said we have two types of settlement. We talked about rural settlement and urban settlement. Under rural settlement, we said we have the following. We have homestand and we have farmstead. We have hamlet, we have village, and so on. We even talked some of the characteristics of settlement. We said this rural settlement is small and it's not well populated, where you find 2 or 3 houses together. Then furthermore, we went further to talk about urban settlement. Under urban settlement, we classify it as town, cities, megapolis, and conurbation. So under that, we equally talked about the characteristics and so on. We said it is relatively large and densely populated. Now today, in our topic, the content of today, the same settlement, we are going to be talking about classification of settlement according to their pattern or shape. 2, conditions favoring the development and growth of settlement. 3, functions of rural area to the urban area. 4, function of urban centers to the rural areas. 5th, classification of settlement according to their functions. 2 functions. Urbanizations, that is the 6th one. The 7th is the factor responsible for the urbanization. The 8th one is problem of urbanization, and followed by assignments. So now we are going to look at the definition of this. The settlement pattern or shape refers to the arrangement of building in a given area. There are 4 main patterns of settlement. 1, we have dispersed settlement. 2, we have nucleated settlement. 3, we have linear settlement. And the 4th one, isolated settlement. Now the characteristics of dispersed settlement or scattered settlement pattern. They are characterized by individual compound. They are characterized by individual compound, widely spread family, widely spaced family, where farmland are located behind the buildings. Where farmland are located behind the buildings, there are distinct boundaries separating one family land from another. The settler live quiet lifestyle. They live quiet lifestyle as they are little. They have no little. There are little or no opportunity for meeting because they are always separated. An example of this kind of dispersed settlement you find, or scattered settlement, is very common in Toro in Bauchi State, a town in Toro in Bauchi State. These kind of settlements are well pronounced there. Now, the second characteristics, we are going to be looking at nucleated pattern of settlement. These are houses that are very close to one another. There are always a center called nucleus, or the Central Business District, called CDB, Central Business District, called CDB. The pattern is well connected with roads, farmlands, and well allocated outside the settlement. The level of interaction between the inhabitants are very, very high. An example of urban settlement is Ikeja, example of this, and Ikeja in Lagos State. And in rural settlement is Ozukwole in Abia State. The third characteristic of linear settlement is where you find houses are located on both sides of the road or routes and or a water course. The settlement could be several kilometers in length. Gardens are located behind the houses, while farmlands are located behind the garden. Example of this kind of linear settlement pattern is Pambegwa in Kaduna State and Lokoja in Kogi State. The fourth characteristic of this kind of settlement is isolated settlement. This pattern is characterized by single houses that are far from each other. Farmlands are very large. The level of interaction is very, very low. The houses are poorly connected with roads. Such settlement pattern is associated with fisherman hut or miner camp. Now, students, let's quickly look at the condition favoring the development and the growth of settlement. One of the conditions is adequate water supply. Adequate water supply, you know how important water is. Water sustains life. Area which have a steady and adequate water supply favor human settlement. People will always go to a place where there is adequate supply of water, right? So you find that people want to settle there. However, region with abundant water supply favor the development of dispersed settlement, whereas area with few sources of water supply favor the development of nucleated settlement. For example, in arid region, that is in desert area, you find in arid region, nucleated settlement develop around the oasis. Oasis is water that is very common. You find in the desert area, you find the water springing up from the ground, and people will come around it, just like, for example, Egypt, where you find the White Nile and the Blue Nile. You see in Alexandria, one of the big cities in Egypt, where people will come together because there are more industry than Cairo, the capital of Egypt. So you find the people settle along the riverside because of this kind of settlement. You see farmland, cotton farm, and so on. Different kind of farmland are as a result of water. Number two, fertile soil. Areas which are blessed with fertile soil favor human settlement. Generally, region with rich alluvial and volcanic soil host large human population. The rural area with fertile soil have dispersed settlements. 3, defense. Well-protected area against invading enemies promote settlement and people in particular place. For example, Zaria and Kano City, the wall built around it protect people there as a defense. So, number 4, presence of natural resources. Areas which are endowed with abundant natural resources, including mineral, timber, etc., favor the development of nucleated settlements. Good example is Jos town, with the presence of mining of tin and columbite. With the presence of mining and columbite, attract people to the area. Students, let's quickly look at the functions of rural area to urban areas. The rural areas serve the urban area in the following ways. 1, they provide food for the urban dwellers. 2, they provide ready market for the manufactured goods from the urban area. Example include clothes, jewelries, cooking utensils, and so on. 3, they provide raw material for industries located in the urban centers. For example, timber, cocoa, and granite, etc., etc. The function of urban center to rural area this time around, it is vice versa. 1, towns and cities provide ready market for farm produce from the rural area. 2, towns supply finished industrial goods to the rural market. 3, administrative headquarters of most countries and states are in the urban center. Rural area, therefore, depend on the urban area for effective governance. 4, foodstuff and other agricultural products are produced or processed into finished goods in factories located in the town. Now, students, let's quickly look at the classification of settlements according to functions. Settlements are classified according to functions they perform. They are classified as follows. Some settlements function as market town. These are mainly trading centers based on commerce. Example, Onitsha and Lagos. 2, industrial towns. Some settlements function as industrial towns. These are involved in manufacturing and processing of raw materials to finished goods. For example, Ikeja, Lagos, Nigeria, where they produce, they are known as industrial town. Now, the third one is commercial town. Commercial town, these are centers of finance and commerce. Example, Kano and Lagos. They are known as commercial town. The fourth, administrative town. If we talk about administrative town, these are headquarters of government, and they are usually capital cities. For example, Abuja in Nigeria, New York in USA. These are administrative towns, completely administrative. You can even say Kaduna town is an administrative town. So, number 5, ecclesiastic town. If you don't want to say ecclesiastic, you can say religious town. The towns we call religious towns, these are religious centers. For example, Mecca for the Muslims, and Rome for the Christians, Banaras for the Hindus. These are towns that they worship, a place of where they worship. Now, let's quickly look at Urbanization. Students, what do you understand by the word urbanization? Urbanization simply refers to growing of towns, especially in terms of human population and physical size. In other words, changing the function of a settlement from rural character to an urban character. Urban development as a result of increasing number of people coming into the town. For example, Abuja, people coming from different parts of the country coming to Abuja to look for their daily bread. And look at, for example, Accra in Ghana. Accra is the capital of Ghana, where they come there for to look for their daily bread. Now, factor responsible for urbanization. We have some of the factors. There are many, but there are a few here I have to name. One, economic activities is one of the factors that is responsible for urbanization. Two, administration is one of the factors. Provision of social amenities is another factor. The last but not the least here, absence of disaster. There are many. There are so many factors here. So we are going to take them one after the other. One, economic activities. People tend to settle in areas where economic activities such as trading, farming, mining takes place, so as to get job in such area. For example, if you look at Jos, where Jos is known for tin mining, you see people go there to seek for job. It's a very good place for mining. Two, administrative. People settle in area where there are seats of government, such as social amenities will be available, and other facilities are often provided in such area. For example, why do people go to Abuja? Come to Kaduna in flux. They come to Kaduna, they go to Abuja. It is because those kind of towns, they can get a job there. Most of the thing is administrative. So people go there to settle there because of social amenities. The third one is provision of social amenities. Many people tend to settle in areas where social amenities like pipe-borne water, electricity, and so on are available. You see, everybody wants comfort. Where there's electricity, people tend to go to that area. It attracts people to go to that area. And the population eventually grow, and the settlement will be enlarged as a result of that. Now, the fourth one is absence of disaster. Absence of disaster, both natural and man-made disaster, in place tend to attract people to such area. For example, look at places like Maiduguri, for example. Nobody wants to go there because of what is happening there. An area where you find volcanic eruption or you find earthquake, you don't expect to go to that kind of area because of the natural disaster there. So it is very, very important. Absence of that increased population. Students, let's quickly look at some of the problems of urbanization. The following are problems or effects. If you don't want to say problems, you can say effect of urbanization. One, environmental pollution. Two, traffic congestion. Three, unemployment. Four, housing congestion. Five, increase in social vices and crime, etc., etc. There are many. So we are going to look at them one after the other. One, environmental pollution. More wastes are produced due to high concentration of people, and this tends to cause pollution in environment. For example, if you look at places like Lagos, where there is high rate of waste produced in an area, this eventually, you will see that it affects the population of that area because of the pollution will be very high as a result of environmental pollution. 2, traffic congestion. Many people tend to travel on roads at the same time, hence there is traffic congestion most of the time. For example, if you look at places like where a big town, where there is traffic congestion, they find solutions to what to go about this traffic congestion. If you look at places like Kaduna South, you are going towards Kaduna South in the evening, you will see cars you see the movement of cars here and there, and this eventually there is this traffic congestion on the way. Before one gets to where he's going, it takes a longer time. That is that. Number 3, unemployment. High population. People usually do not have enough job for the ever-increasing influx of people into such area. It is obvious that if you look at the whole thing, the influx of people in a town, not everybody will get a good job. Not everybody will get the kind of job he really wants. So that is one of the problems. The effect of unemployment is one of the problems in urbanization. Number 4, housing congestion. High population leads to poor accommodation, as the number of houses are not always enough for the people. If you look at it, where you find houses are very expensive because the number of people, the influx of people in the town will not be able to accommodate the houses that are available. So you find it's a problem of housing, Number 5, increase in social vices. Social vices like armed robbery, hire assassin, car snatching, etc., will be in increase. For example, you don't expect somebody who has no job and is in a town where no job, he's just in the town. You expect that there will be different kind of crime are bound to happen. That is what is happening in our society today. Increase in this, increase in that. You find social kidnapping is there because of lack of job. That is that. So, an assignment, students, I want you to take this assignment. Number 1, explain 4 factors responsible for the increase in the size of urban settlement. Number 2, describe any 4 effects of an increase in the population size of settlement. Number 3, explain any 3 functions which urban centers perform for rural area. I will take it again. Number 1, explain 4 factors responsible for the increase in the size of urban settlements. Number 2, describe any 4 effects of an increase in the population size of settlement. Number 3, explain any 3 functions which urban center perform for rural area. So students, my name is Kamal Adamu Garba with number 08038619143. Please stay at home, stay safe, and keep learning. Thank you.